Hello, welcome to episode 45. And today I would love to talk about lesson 199. I am not a body, I am free. And then a lesson after this says, I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me. So, this is such a deep lesson. And you could spend a lifetime or a moment's realization to get what this means. So let's just break it down. What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to know that we are the creator. We are one with the creator. That means not two. Not two is one. What is oneness? Oneness is not separation. It's actually so simple, and we want to make it so difficult, complex, so we don't have to get there. We don't have to know what we are intuiting, what we're remembering, what we actually really know. We pretend that we don't know so that we can play in this yard, this playground of make-believe. So what does it mean to be a body? This lesson talks about not being a body. But what do you get if you're a body? If you're a body, you get to complain. You get to be separate. You get to evaluate God. What kind of a God allows this? Or what kind of a God? We get to be the final judge, right? We pretend, the ego pretends as a separate body, as a separate entity. You cannot be a person without a body. So a body is intrinsic to the ego. Let's just let that sink in. Course says over and over, and we kind of know this from our inner experience if we want to be truthful. There is only one problem, and that problem is separation, or a belief in separation, because we're not separate. So it's really very much like a tree in a forest. A tree in a forest looks entirely separate. And in a way it is, if you only look above ground, if you don't look into what it's made of, if you don't look at the roots underneath. That's us. We appear to be solid, we're not. We appear to be separate because we look like the different trees. One is big, one is tall, one is fat, one is skinny, one is bald, one is lots of hair, blah, 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 blah. And we get all involved with what non-duality calls the objects of experience. What does that mean? The objects of experience means everything we experience, that would be our bodies as well, everything we see, everything we sense, everything we experience, everything we touch, and even everything we think. So feelings, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, bodies, eyes, the eyes of the body, the ears of the body, the thinking of the body. It's all objects of experience. It's really a great word. In the beginning, it sounds, oh, what is that? It's hard. It sounds, I don't know, not relatable. But it's actually really, really good because it covers everything. So what are we? Well, if we're not that, the Course says we're spirit. Well, that's a little hard to hold on to. But the truth is even harder to hold on to. And yet, at the same time, it's easier. We're no thing. And before you get all upset and depressed and attached and holding on and arguing, we're no thing and we're everything. There's no place that we begin and no place that we end. So let's look at the Course and see what it says. This is all the last part of what I said is non-duality, which fits beautifully with the Course. Freedom must be impossible as long as you perceive yourself as a body. Let me go over that. Freedom must be impossible as long as you perceive a body as yourself. The body's a limit. Who would seek for freedom in a body looks for it where it cannot be found? So that means we set out on a wild goose chase on purpose. Because we want to hold on to the body. We want to hold on to our pretend world. It's like a little kid, Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. Try to take Snuffleupagus away from a little kid. Or Bert and Ernie. They say Bert and Ernie are real. I love Bert and Ernie. I see Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie have affected my day, and so has the Cookie Monster, and so has Snuffleupagus. We're just like that. They're real to the little kid, and our world is real to us as long as we perceive ourselves as a body. And remember, it says, we seek for freedom in a body that looks for it where it cannot be found. So we don't want to be free. That's a tough one to swallow because we pretend we do. But then we'd have to stop feeding control. We'd have to stop feeding our perceptions, our judgments, our thinking mind, our feeling body. We love to feel it all. This feels good, that feels bad. This is good, this is bad. We love the judgments. The mind can be made free when it no longer sees itself as in a body, firmly tied to it and sheltered by its presence. If this were the truth, the mind were vulnerable indeed. Now, this is important. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited forever. That is not the small mind. That's the mind of God. That's the part of our mind that is connected to truth. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited forever, in all ways, beyond the laws of time and space, unbound by any preconceptions, and with strength and power to do whatever it is asked. Attack thoughts cannot enter such a mind because it has been given to the source of love. And fear can never enter in a mind that has attached itself to love. It rests in God, in the oneness. It rests in itself. And who can be afraid who lives in innocence and only loves? It is essential for your progress in this course that you accept today's idea and hold it very dear. Be not concerned that to the ego it is quite insane. The ego holds the body dear because it dwells in it and lives united with the home that it has made. It's a part of the illusion that has sheltered it from being found illusory itself. Well, what does all that mean? What does it mean if we're not a body? What keeps the body going? Well, Mooji, my dear friend, a very eloquent and sweet person who speaks from the non-dual, says the person itself is phenomenal. What does phenomenal mean? Phenomenal means the same as the objects of experience. So what does that mean? So once again, I'm saying in a different way, the person is an object. The person is phenomenal. What does phenomenal mean? It means it's changeable. You have different moods, you have different thoughts, you have different perceptions, you have different feelings. I have different feelings. I have different judgments. We're all the same. We're all like the trees that belong to the roots, that belong to the earth, that belong to the sky, that are not separate. What keeps the person going? Mooji says 3 things: habit, memory, and desire. Let's think about that. Habit, memory, and desire. Wow. Now, desire is a word that comes from God. It is of the Father. Many feel that even this world, everything, nothing is apart, separate from the one. The way the Course says it's a little different. It says God did not make this world, but it can use everything for a lesson that we would learn. We don't have to quibble about the details. This world is like a daydream. It's only really real to the players. It's real to the creator of the dream, and really to nobody else. So, are we going to dream? Or are we going to know that we are these unlimited beings, full of light, full of capacity, but not solid, not a form? That's what tricks us. We believe that we have to find ourselves in self-inquiry. And we're looking for another person. That's the problem. We're not people. We're not separate. We're not solid. We're not a personality. We have a personality, but we're not a personality. How many times Did you feel that you should be the same all the time? You should be consistent. You should have, let's say, good self-esteem, which means you shouldn't go to unworthiness. Can you imagine how much time we spent pretending we were consistently friendly, pretending we were consistently confident, pretending we were the same from yesterday till today? Hi, how are you? Fine, I'm fine, how are you? Everybody pretending. How about if we start saying, I was fine yesterday, I'm miserable today, who knows about tomorrow? Even as spiritual students, as spiritual teachers, we feel that we should always trust. We should always choose again with love in mind. But the nature of the chooser is that there is no substance. It's just like Snuffleupagus. So why should it not be different every single day? The only thing that's constant is God. And God is us, but not in form. The self is that entity of oneness. So let's just do a little bit of a relaxation time into the truth of who we are. Let's just say we're done traveling for today. We're done going out and trying and efforting and being a good person and being a teacher, being a student, doing our meditation, doing our discipline. Let's enter the body. Hello, body. I've treated you badly. I've worshiped you. I've put you down. You're never as perfect as I believed you should be. Thank you for knowing those beliefs were lies. You can be my vehicle in the world. You can travel around, visit different people, different places, be amongst the objects of experience. Have your experience. Enjoy. Whatever it is, if it's tragic, if it's positive, meaning happy, it's actually all part of the happy dream. Picture the happy dream is the playground, God's playground, and you get to play in it. The happy dream is not what happens in the drama, whether the story is yay or nay. The happy dream is that we get to play in the playground. And many of us on this go round get invested in knowing the truth. So we can no longer remain with the body as our final destination. So where else is there? It's not a place. What is it that knows I'm saying, hi, how are you to the neighbor? Something knows it. And yet, can that perceiver, the one that's further away from the judge, because the judge is saying, you're being a phony, or I don't like that neighbor, or I would like to get to know that neighbor. You have, the person always has a certain take on everything, certain judgment. I like this person, I don't, they're handsome, they're pretty, I wish I knew them more, I wish I knew them less. But what if none of those were where it was at? What if we get a little further back behind and see the perceiver of the judge, the witness? Something knows we're alive. Something knows how we've been playing the game as a body. That something is not a someone, it's not a somewhere, it's not a form. It's good not to know what I'm talking about. The minute you leave with a question, your mind is all open. It's looking for the answer. That's what self-inquiry is. What's the point of inquiring if you already know you're a body, you're a person, you're limited, it's up to you. You better get everything you can for yourself because nobody else is going to get it for you. No need for inquiry. You already know how to do that. Inquiry is when we don't know the answer. So let's just open to that space of unknowing. The Course talks about freedom. The opposite of freedom is a limitation. We know what it feels like to be limited. Sometimes we get depressed. Sometimes we get sad. Sometimes we're frustrated and angry. We're desiring to break out. We're desiring to have the freedom to be the unlimited, to be totality of love, to be the resonance of love, meaning no withholding. How would that be as a new definition of love? The giving with no withholding. What are you withholding now? What if you let it go? What if you allowed love to be? It's great to leave with questions. The ego holds the body dear because it dwells in it and lives united with the home that it has made. It's part of the illusion that it has sheltered it from being found illusory itself. Here does it hide, and here it could be seen as what it is. Declare your innocence, and you are free. The body disappears because you have no need of it except the need the Holy Spirit sees. Here's my understanding of that. It disappears, meaning it loses your focus. It loses your protection. It loses your need to get what you want and desire what you want and not have what you don't want. Some people take this to mean you're going to die when you get it, that you are free, and that you have no more need of the body. But the word need is very essential here. The body continues, I believe, to work for us without putting on it the attachment of need. We don't need a car. We like to have a car because it's useful to get where we're going. The body gets us where we're still going in the service of the Supreme. When we are one with the Supreme, with the Originator, with the everything, the all, there is no more a belief in separation. We have no need for it. The separate one was to be a body, was to be a person. But if we're not a person, we don't need a body. And that's the gift of going that far with that language. So I thank you for being with me today. Namaste.